Want to know why you're not seeing high quality women on the dating apps and where you can find them? Stay tuned because we're going to dive into that topic today. Hi guys, it's Emily, head coach and co-founder at emlovz.com, and in 2012, I completed a 100-date experiment. And since then, I've been helping my clients find love fast with my coaching and matchmaking programs. And I love the question that I got, which is, why am I not seeing the women that I'm really excited about on these dating apps? I see them out in person, but they're not in real life, or they're not on the dating apps. What does this mean? What do I do? I love this question because there's a lot of reasons why it's happening and there's ways to overcome it. So keep watching as we dive into today's topic. So one of the reasons you may not be seeing women you're attracted to is because you have a low Elo score. What is an Elo score, you ask? Well, it is the internal algorithm the dating apps use to determine your market value. It's simplistically, let's say 100 women swipe right on you and you swipe right on 100. Your Elo score would be glowing because everybody wants to meet you. However, if you have bad photos, if your self-summary is not good, if you're going after women who are 30 years younger than you, all of these things can cause you to not get right swipes, to not get messages, not get responses from women. And every time that happens, that you're not getting swiped right on, you're getting swiped left on, your Elo score goes down. It's kind of like an Uber rating, right? Every time somebody swipes left, you lose a point. Every time somebody swipes right, you gain a point. I will say I don't work at a dating app company, so I don't have the internal guarantee that this is exactly how they work, but I've tested the crap out of them, and so I have a pretty good hunch that this is the way they're operating. So your goal in having a dating app is to get as many right swipes, as many responses as you can to keep your Elo score high. The higher response rates people get, the better their photos, the more competitive they are, the more right swipes they get, the more attractive, high-quality women they're going to see. This is why it's so important not to just slap up a profile with some random photos of you that aren't even good, because you're going to mess up your Elo score and you're going to feel like you're knocking your head against the wall because you're never seeing the women that you want. You really got to take time and effort and really treat it like you would treat interviewing for a job. And speaking of that, if you don't have a good job, think about spending more time on your interview process. It really has to do with how much time you put into your dating profile, how much you really start to understand how to market and sell yourself. And that is exactly what I teach in my program. So if you want more help on this, head on over to emlovz.com/book. You can book a new client with, you can book a new client session with myself or a member of my team there, and then we can talk about your dating goals, your dating profiles. We can explain a little bit how our coaching program helps you to have a super competitive dating profile, which keeps your Elo scores high and gets you in front of the women that you want to be in front of. If you are a person who in the past or even present day are closing your eyes and swiping right on everyone and just waiting until you see who matches with you to decide who you respond to or who you message, let me tell you, you are killing your Elo score. It is in the dumpster. That's probably why you're not seeing the people you want to see. We can help you with this. This is something that we teach in our program, but stop doing that. You only want to swipe right on women that you're interested in. These dating apps have complex algorithms that learn from your behavior. So if you're swiping right on all these women that you're not even giving any consideration to, and then they respond or they message you or whatever, you guys match, and you're like, oh my God, I would never go on a date with her. You just taught the machine, you just taught the app that that's what you wanted. And so now it's just going to keep showing you things you don't want. So never swipe right on a woman you would not go on a date with. I know it can be kind of hard because then sometimes you match and you like really think about it and it gets real and then you're like, yeah, I don't really want to. But the more selective you can be, the more you teach the algorithm what you want. So it's really important that you're not just swiping because you're messing up your internal algorithm, you're messing up your market value, and now you're only going to see women that do not have a high Elo score themselves. Another reason why you may not be seeing women you're attracted to on the dating apps is because your photos are not competitive enough. These days, you are competing with so many people on these apps, and the apps are so powerful that they're worth competing on. I don't want you to think that, oh, it's too hard, they don't work, this is crap. They're so powerful when you know how to harness them correctly. So definitely use them. They make life so much more efficient, I guarantee you. You can't just walk into a bar and find somebody who has all these things in common with you. So if you know how to use the apps, you can really find the most compatible people ever. We've never had access to anything like this in the past before dating apps were a thing, so they're really amazing. But you have to know how to set them up correctly. And the biggest, most important thing you can do is make sure that your photos are competitive. So making sure that you test your photos, test them on Photo Feeler, make sure they have a competitive score. You need a score above an 8 out of 10 on at least one of the 3 categories. Recommended that it is on the attractiveness category. I talk a lot more about this in my program. If you want more information about that, head on over to emlovz.com and you can learn more about me and what I do. But I specialize in this stuff. I know exactly the 6 photo archetypes you want to have on your profile in order to be competitive and paint a picture of who you are so that you stand out from the competition and really attract the women you're most compatible with. And I encourage you to take professional photos. The caveat is you've got to know what photos you need and what you should not be doing in your photos. There is a bunch of misinformation out there about how you should take your dating app photos, but in my program I teach you exactly what to do, what not to do, the 6 photo archetypes you want to have on your profile, common mistakes that are being made all the time. Really, you want to make sure that you're painting yourself in your best light. So that means you're not just pulling the most recent photos from your phone and cropping out your ex-girlfriend. Don't do that, guys. Don't put the emojis over your kids' faces. Don't scratch people out. Don't have weird lighting. I mean, this is what happens all the time. And really, it's like your business card for you. You want to make your dating profile really represent who you are uniquely and authentically. And it takes a little bit of work a lot of times because most of us didn't get taught how to market and sell ourselves in school. But this is something that I teach, and it is something that you can learn, and it is so powerful if you do learn it. So the name of the game is having good photos and also having a great self-summary. In my program, I actually give you a template that you can use to create your self-summary, and it really brings out those rare and unique talents, skills, and interests that are super unique to you, and that helps you match with very compatible people on the apps. But if you don't know what you're doing when you set up your profile, chances are you're going to have a poor experience on the dating apps. You're not going to see the women you want to see, and you're going to end up just deleting all of your apps and sitting at home with your cat. We don't want that. Your cat needs people to come over too. You want babes in your place, man. So let's get this going and dial your stuff in, because I want you to find love and I want to hear all about it when you do. So head on over to emlovz.com if you want more help with this, or you're looking to learn a little bit more about this topic, or you want personalized coaching. I'd love to talk more about it with you. If you don't take photos of yourself, or you don't know how to take photos of yourself, or you don't like taking photos of yourself, or you think you are not photogenic, please be smart about this and hire a professional photographer. But make sure that they know what you should and should not be doing in your photos. And for more on that, head on over to emlovz.com. I give you all of this information in my coaching program. Really, really important, because a bad photo shoot can really mess you up. I know personally I've had to do more than one photo shoot during certain times because I just didn't have the right clothes, didn't do the right poses, the photographer was not the right fit for me. So it's important that you find the right person that really does a good job at this specific type of photo, and that you set yourself up for success. But if you don't know how to take good photos, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to become a master photographer. Just hire a professional. It's going to save you so much time, and it's going to be so worth it. Another reason you might not be seeing the women that you want on the dating apps is because your profile or your self-summary section and your prompt response answers are super blank, or they're very thoughtless, they're very generic, they're very broad. You don't want to be every other guy on this dating site. You don't want to just find the first 5 photos and barely fill out your profile and then wonder, why isn't this working for me? Well, dude, it's not working because you got to put some time and effort in if you want gold to come out of it. But gold can come out of it. You can find the love of your life. Oh my God, it's so easy if you know what you're doing. But you want to make sure that your self-summary is specific. So you shouldn't be saying, I like food and Netflix and hiking. You should say specific things: your favorite food of all time, your favorite musician, your favorite book, your favorite TV show. You want to get as specific as possible because you want your profile to be polarizing. Women are seeing hundreds of men's profiles every single day. If you are trying to be basic, if you're being too vague and generic, you're not going to stand out from the competition. She's not going to get to know what makes you unique and special, and you are, and I want to hear about it in the comments below. I want to know all the specific details you're putting on your profiles. I want to hear how you're sharing these things that are really important to you, like your core values or your favorite musicians, favorite artists, favorite foods. These things are what create compatibility, guys. And if you're looking for more help on this, I do give my clients in my coaching program a template that is not a copy and paste. It's not generic. It's not finding something cutesy on the internet and putting it on your profile so that every other guy has the same freaking profile. It is a way to set yourself apart from the competition, to polarize the audience that would be hell yeah interested in you, and to get rid of the women who would not be compatible in the first place, so that you're not spending your time and money on dates that go nowhere. All of this I teach in my program. It is so important to be super specific in your self-summary, very intentional, very thoughtful. That is how you start seeing the women you want to see on these apps. And my God, are they powerful when you harness them correctly. They are super powerful tools that can find you the most specific person on the planet for uniquely you. And that is the beauty of these tools. No copy and paste jobs, guys. Let's get real specific. Let's get real intentional. Let's get real authentic on our profiles and find those people who are right for us. You also want to be super cognizant of grammar and spelling errors. If it looks like you rush through your profile, guess what? Girls are going to rush to swipe left on you. It's really important that you take your time, that you think of this as a resume. You wouldn't want to have a spelling error on a resume or a grammatical error on a resume, because the people who are looking at that resume are also looking at hundreds of other resumes, and they're just going to throw yours in the garbage. We don't want you to go in the garbage. We want you to find the woman of your dreams. So you've got to put some time in. And I know if you're watching this video, you're the type of guy that already knows how to put time into what he cares about. So make sure to put time into your profile. Have people review it for you. You can always hire a coach like me who can give you feedback on your profile. Make sure if you have jokes, they're landing. Make sure that the profile is understandable, that it is polarizing and sets you apart, and that it looks like you took your time and were very intentional. Really important that you don't look like a killer in your profile either. And you would be surprised how easy it is for a super nice guy to look like a total killer on his profile. So if you need help with that, watch the video on, how to look like a killer, so you stop doing that, because that is the number one. Women do not want to be afraid of you. And sometimes when you're trying to look cool or you're looking away from the camera into the sunset, it actually makes you look dangerous. So this is something I teach in my program. You can learn more about that at emlovz.com, but you want to make sure you look really kind, welcoming, and not killery if you want a higher Elo score, which is going to show you to the women that you're actually excited about. Something to keep in mind, if you've had your dating app forever and you used to make some of the common mistakes that we talked about, like closing your eyes and swiping right, or, having a generic profile or having terrible photos, and you've had your profile for a really long time, just know it takes a little bit of time for you to get your scores up. So just think about it like an Uber rating. Okay, every time you take Uber, you get rated, and then you rate the person. If you've gotten a lot of down thumbs or whatever, or a lot of swipe lefts, then you're going to have a low Elo score, and it's going to take a little bit of time for your market value to recover. So if it takes time and you're not seeing the women you want after you've made all these changes, keep in mind, it takes a little bit of time. The more right swipes you get, the better. I have a hack for you. I'm going to tell you this. Don't tell anybody, okay? One hack is to make sure that your age range is 10 years younger to 10 years older. This isn't because I want you to date women who are way older, because I know most guys are really into younger women, which is fine. But it's so that, as older women see your profile, you're going to get more right swipes. And so the more right swipes you get, the higher your Elo score will be, the more competitive your profile will be, and the more hot, amazing, wonderful women you are going to see. So keep that in mind. It just takes a little bit of time, but I don't recommend deleting and restarting your profile a bunch of times, because it can flag you as a spammer. You can get shadow banned or real banned. So that is last resort. If you have to restart your profile, Only do it once, and I only really recommend it if you've been shadow banned already or you're banned. And that means you know that you're banned, or if you're shadow banned, not any of your messages ever get through, and you would know this because you maybe used to get responses and now you get none. You maybe used to get matches and now you get none, and you are spending like 30 minutes a day swiping and trying to get matches and things like that. And you've tested your photos on Photo Feeler to know that they're competitive. I don't recommend doing that if you can avoid it. If you have to, I have videos on that will help you to restart your profile, but really just give it some time for the Elo score to come around, and make sure you raise that age range. That doesn't mean if you don't want to date an older woman, do not swipe right on her. It's just going to help your internal algorithm to improve, because more women are going to swipe right on you than if it was only women who are younger. But if you don't swipe right, then you're not going to teach the algorithm. You're basically teaching the algorithm what you want. So don't swipe right unless you would actually go on a date with her. Capiche? Another reason you may not be seeing the women that you really want to see on the dating apps is because you're being too picky. So here's an example. You are looking at women who are more than 10 years younger than you, and that's it. Studies show that an age gap of greater than 10 years is not statistically likely to work long term. So if your goal is a long-term relationship, I would try and keep that within 10 years. But either way, regardless, if there's that big of an age difference, it's going to lower your Elo score and you're going to get less swipe rights. Another thing to keep in mind, and I have to be really honest with you guys, if you're looking for a supermodel and you are not a supermodel, you are going to mess up your Elo score, because a woman is going to be attracted to somebody who is like her. So if you want her to have a rockin' body, you better have a rockin' body. And I gotta be honest with you guys. You gotta be honest with yourself too. You gotta look in the mirror. If you are not a supermodel looking dude, and that's okay, because women have a lot of variation in what they like, but you also have to keep in mind, realistically, a dating app is it's superficial, right? So you really need to be competitive for the market you're going after. If you look like you are older than you are and you're going for women who are younger, you are not going to be competitive in the market that you're looking to attract. So it's important to know what your ideal type of woman goes for, what type of guy she goes for. You can use a celebrity to model this. So find a celebrity that you like, or your celebrity crush, and then look up who she is married to, or who she's dating, or who she's dated in the past. Then compare those images that you see of him to images that you have on your profile, and just notice, here's how they differ. Wow, he wears totally different clothes than me, or whatever it is. How are you different? You have to make sure that you are competitive for the market you're going after. I probably would not be competitive if I was going after 20-year-old boys, nor would I want to. But the example is there, right? You gotta be competitive for who you're looking to attract. Maybe your clothes are fine for being a 35-year-old guy, but you'd really like a woman in her 20s or in her late 20s, well then your clothes need to reflect what a man in his late 20s is dressing like. You really want to be competitive for your target market. If you don't know how you're being received by women, it is important to get that feedback. This is something that I do in my program. We have mock dates where you actually get feedback on your style, on your wardrobe, on your presentation, on your conversation skills, all of it. And often I find that clients who are going after younger women, even if they are the right age, look significantly older than that age group. For example, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a client who came to me. I didn't know his age at the time. I have since learned to ask that right away, but he wasn't getting matches. I saw his photos. They all looked good. He has super professional photos, really great clarity, business work clothes, all of that. We couldn't figure out why he wasn't getting matches. So I asked him, okay, well, who are the type of women you're going after? What is the age range? And he said, like 20 to 28. And I was like thinking to myself, wow, that's really young because you look like you're 38. But I realized I didn't know his age. So then I asked him, I said, okay, well, how old are you? And he goes, oh, I'm 28. And I go, dude, you look 38. I love you to death, but we can fix this problem because I had no idea. I thought you were 38. Now, I obviously asked that question a lot earlier, but sometimes people, the way they dress, especially if they have a really great job or they're working with people who are older or they have to be professional all the time, they dress in a way that makes them look way, way older, and they can't compete with the younger generation or the people that they're going after, the women, because their clothes are just not sexy. And that is an easy fix, you guys. This client that I have in my mind, he also had some premature hair loss, which can totally be corrected. There's totally solutions for this, guys. And I can teach you more about that in my program as well. But even just popping on a beanie or a baseball hat or something, and then wearing clothes that, you know, are more youthful, made a huge difference. When we changed that, he had more matches than he knew what to do with, and now I think he's engaged. I gotta check in with him, but now he's doing great. So it's really about who you're going after. You must be competitive for the market that you're going after. The people you want to attract need to be attracted to you. So if you need to clean up your wardrobe, if you haven't bought new clothes in 5 or 10 years, if your clothes look like old man clothes, you gotta burn them and start again. And that is something that I teach in my program. We actually have a celebrity stylist on board who can meet with you, look at your pre-existing wardrobe, see what is good, maybe what you need to add to it, what should be removed or lit on fire. She's amazing. She works with celebrities all the time on TV and film sets, and that is a part of our program. So if you want to learn more, head on over to emlovz.com and book a new client session with myself or a member of my team. Another reason why you may not be seeing women that you're attracted to on the dating apps could have to do with your geographic area. So let's say, for example, you live in an area with a bunch of retirees, but you're like 30. Well, that's going to be tough to meet people. And there's some issues too. So even if you put your geographic territory on the dating app as being like really big, so say you do a 100-mile radius, you still might not see the women that you want because her radius might be set to like 5 miles and she lives in a city 30 miles away. So if that's the case, what I recommend that you do after you know that your profile is competitive, you can learn more about how to make it competitive at emlovz.com. Once you know you have a competitive profile and you're still not getting matches because you live in an area where there's not a bunch of single women your age, now I recommend that you upgrade your apps so that you can go to travel mode. There's a travel mode on Bumble that I really like. I believe it's on Hinge and Tinder as well. But you want to actually be able to drop your pin or travel to the specific cities around you that have more single women in your age range. This is because if you're able to show that you're, like, say, for example, in San Francisco, you're then going to see the women who are in San Francisco but have their territory set to like 7 miles. Whereas if you were 30 minutes away and you had a 100-mile radius, you still wouldn't see the women that had their territory set very small. So basically you want to upgrade the app to travel mode as long as you know that you have a competitive profile. Because if you upgrade your app and your profile is not competitive, there's not a lot that can be done. You're just throwing money in the garbage, lighting it on fire. We don't want that here. So be strategic. Last but not least, changing up your profile will help you to be shown to more women who maybe previously swiped left or even women that you didn't see before. So imagine she's looking for a scuba diver guy and you actually are a scuba diver guy, but you didn't put a photo of it on your profile or you didn't put that keyword on your profile. Well, then you decide, hey, I'm going to update my profile, and you add that photo or that keyword in there. Now the app is going to show you again to women who previously swiped left, and also women that you may not have seen before at all, because they know that you will have that in common if you both share that same keyword in common, and so they're going to take a chance and show you to those people to see if there's a match. So update your profile every week or two, update your photos, update your self-summary, update your profile prompt responses, and that is going to help you to see more fresh leads and also to get in front of more women. That wraps up this video. If you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comments below. And follow us on social media. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.